The time has come for a shack renovation. I'm going to totally redo the shack here. It's been, this shack has been pretty much the same since the 1990s, believe it or not. And it's just time to make things easier for me, easier access and that, because I have low vision these days. My vision has been getting a little worse over the last few years, and it's difficult now for me to see screens on computers and radio displays and that type of thing. As you can see on the desk behind me with the tall shelving and that, and the backs on the shelving, it's kind of a rat's nest of wires behind there, and it's hard to fish wires through. I need easier access to my cabling, and just everything easy access and easier to use for me. So that's what I'm going to do. It's time to just tear everything out of here and start over, basically. As you can see, the carpeting is an old brown carpeting. I'm going to put some vinyl floor planking in here, I think, and going to repaint the walls and take everything out and start over, basically. Decide what type of desks I'm going to use and that kind of thing. And a little larger computer screen probably, and things like that. So this is the shack right now, and I have updated equipment, of course, over the years, but the basic layout of the shack hasn't changed much. So I'll try to do some updates over time and show you what's going on here. Maybe this is going to be kind of a slow project, no big hurry. So over a period of months, it's going to take me to kind of figure out what I want to do here. And for the summer, I have my HF radio out in my garage, so I use it out there more in the summer anyhow. So I'll have time to redo the shack. I'm going to show you around the shack here briefly, so you know what it is right now, and over time, I'll show you what it becomes. So let's take a look around. So this is my main operating position now, and it's become a mess of wires behind the computer screen and that. Right now I have a weather station here on the left, and KX3 Elecraft radio temporary in here for right now. My main HF radio station is out in the garage for the summer because I spend a lot of time out there in the summertime and not as much time in the shack. I have a Yaesu dual band VHF UHF radio there, digital scanner, and a parametric EQ for receive a Heil. And as you can see, it's kind of a rainy day today, so a good day to be doing a video in the shack, I guess. I have my keyboard below that and my main computer below the desk. A lot of wires under the desk there that are difficult to see. And I have a TV over here on the right. I use that to monitor my front door camera, driveway cam, most of the time. It can be used as a regular standard TV also. And a couple other monitors for other cameras around the property. Above that, I have CB radio. I do monitor CB, the band conditions on 11 meters quite a bit to see if there's a lot of skip coming in on CB, then I know 10 meters is probably good. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people operating on CB yet these days, but I keep it on low volume in the background. Not all the time, but some of the time. Above that, I have another digital scanner, a Uniden Home Patrol. And up above on the desk, I have a rain gauge and just an AM/FM radio for monitoring a couple local stations at times. And this is what the desktop looks like with my ICOM 7300 in place. Moving over to the right, I have my Drake collection. The Drake TR4CW on the left, and a matching speaker. And my Lollipop Static D104 from 1976 Bicentennial that matched that Drake radio just fine. So that was my first HF radio back in 1977. And several items on the wall over here in the corner. QSL cards up above. And this used to be my main operating position here back in the 1990s, early 2000s. I had some different equipment in here at the time. But right now, most of this equipment isn't being used right now. My old Kenwood HF radio from the 1980s. And This here is being used. This is a PA system for the house monitoring speakers I have around the house. I take audio from the shack here and pipe it through a 70-volt line to speakers in various locations around the house and garage and that kind of thing. So this is in constant use here. And up above is a analog scanner, not being used much anymore, but it is used occasionally. And power outlet monitoring system, power voltage, line voltage monitoring. And my antenna selector switch, one of them. And there's another piece of Drake equipment that goes back many years, the antenna matching network that I actually won at a Hamfest back at the time when I was actually using my Drake TR4 CW. So that was a perfect match. And over on the side, it's kind of hard to see, but I have several antenna coax switches mounted there to direct my cables to various radios in the shack and various antennas outdoors. So that's kind of hard to reach and get at, so that needs to be simplified here in my renovation process. I do have an audio mixer that I used to use for my various audio sources in the shack, different radios and things that would go into the house monitoring system. But this has a problem these days. I'm not using that, and I simplified. I don't need that many channels anymore. So that's going to come out. And I have a smaller audio mixer that I'm using right now and going to upgrade that just a bit for the new shack. The original console, I had a friend of mine build it for me back around 1990. I designed it on paper, and he was a good craftsman with wood, and he built the cabinet. And then later on, many years, I added a big screen on the wall there. See, I'm not using this cabinet or this desktop as much because it wasn't set up for computer use, really. This was kind of before computers were used all that much in the shack. So it's hard to incorporate a keyboard on here and monitors. I don't like looking up so much at monitors. It gets to be hard on the neck looking up that far, or if I had monitors setting on top of that desk up there, or the shelf on the top of the desk. So I never did that. That's why I moved them to my other console. And let's take a look underneath the desk. What a mess of cables there. See what I mean? And there is some room for rack mount equipment. The only thing I have under there right now is an Astron power supply for several things in the shack. And yes, it is kind of dusty down there. Been neglecting my cleaning duties here. So moving from the main console over to the desk with the audio mixer on it and another computer. That's about all I have over here. I do have my guitar and an amp up here for guitar practice once in a while if I'm looking things up on YouTube. And I can jam out on the guitar a little bit here in the shack once in a while. Otherwise, my main music room is downstairs. The audio mixer I'm using right now is over here on this desk on the other wall. And as you can see, cables get long in the shack going from one side of the room to the other. So everything's going to kind of come together and more of a central location, I guess. It's been spread out over the years, and that's just not good. Moving to the left of that is my desk in a closet. Well, this is where I do my normal daily book work, and it's just kind of out of the way there in the closet, huh? But I'm going to redo that and get that out of there. My antenna cables come in over here in the closet, actually. You can see the mess back there. So a lot of things to straighten out here. I do have some equipment up in the closet and some books, that kind of thing. So the closet is going to be totally changed here also. Get the desk out of the closet. And just looking around from there, I have a bunch of QSL cards on the walls. And various other items. Some items on display there. And some old equipment just on display. It's an old CB transceiver. Mainly just for looks here right now. I'm not really using that. It'll probably come out of the shack and go in the back room with all the classic equipment. And some other things on display in the shack. A little closer look at the Drake equipment. So I guess I'll be making some big changes over the coming months. See what happens. So that's the basic layout of the shack here right now. I didn't show you every little detail, but try to just kind of show you around the shack, kind of see what I have going right now. And over the years, you know, it's become kind of a mess, and a cluster of wires behind things, and a lot of things that are difficult to get at these days. Over the years, it gets crammed in there, and you never make changes, it seems. At least I haven't. Just when updating something, and I'll pull something out and put a new piece of gear in or whatever, and then you try to fish the old cables out and fish the new ones in, and it ends up being a lot more work than it's going to be in the future, put it that way. So anyhow, thanks for watching. Have a great day. 7-3 from Larry, WD0AKX, Radio Ham Guy on YouTube.